The question is, do the Giants have bounties of their own currently besides
Yes, they
the
do.
Pirates?
The
Dorian
Pirates.
Broggie, we know they have, but I mean,
Yeah,
right now
the
they're only at 100 million right now. I'll say they're very, very, very under.
Origin
They're way
shit.
too low now.
Yeah,
Like, I want to see Dorian Broggie have bounties higher than King the Wildfire right now.
That's a lofty expectation, man.
Yeah, I know, but I need to see it.
I think as a group,
I don't think that's happening, brother.
I think a group together,
I think it is.
with two, they'll get a bill. So that means 500 each.
The legendary giant pirate captains come back after like 100 years, and then they immediately lead a force to not only defeat the largest Buster Call we've seen in the story by far, that even had smaller vessels that are part of that ship, that fleet, but also they thwarted the elders themselves. Yeah, hell yeah, bounties high,
and admiral as well. Yeah, they're
and admiral as well high.
One bill as a collective for the both.
1.8 bill.
I would go like 1.6, 1.7, something like that.
Okay. Eyeball Hancock.
I mean, if you split that apart for each other, yeah, that would be fine.
No. Per.
No,
I just think it's the political pitfall.
Oh, you gotta be a little reasonable here.
Like, here's the problem. The problem is that the Giants themselves get too much gas for them to be so mediocre, right? Regular Giants, regular Giants from Marine 4 that we saw, mind you, these Marine 4 is Navy headquarters, so they're like a tier higher than rank. Yes. These guys were at minimum vice admirals. That includes even Saul. He's also a vice admiral, so they're all minimum at vice admirals for Navy headquarters. The Giants have, as far as I know, the strongest military in the entire world. Big Mom says if I had the Giants, I'll be King of the Pirates right now. Easy, not even a question.
So
Dorian Broggie were able to handle motherfuckers with ease in the Egget Island, Vice Admirals, and so on. They even Sun Scaldi and Warkery. Like, get the fuck out, bro. Like, what are you doing?
So
like, they have.
I think you're gonna have to have a conversation with Jay and Brago.
Yeah, I was gonna say so.
They're out of pocket. Wherever they're saying they're out of pocket, Jay and Brago are. Listen, wait. If Jay and Brago are shitting on the Giants, they are completely wrong. They've missed the mark. They don't know what they're talking about. Full stop.
Let me ask you this, Cole, for perspective, to get a gauge on where you believe average Giants are at.
Average Giants? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, where do you see Ors Jr. in the terms of the world?
In terms of the power weight class, probably like a senior officer, maybe a little bit less than that, something like that.
Okay, you do realize Ors Jr. by that point of view beat up like 8 Vice Admiral Giants.
Yeah, I remember that.
He demolished them, and then
I know.
Dofi,
right.
But lineage, come on.
But Dofi literally demolished, and Kuma,
he coughed his leg. Yes.
Yeah, they demolished them. The warlords were like having fun with and Gecko Moria too. Remind you, Gecko Moria was having fun with Ors. So it's like
okay. Let me flip it around then, all right? Because we're doing it from the wrong perspective. Okay.
All right.
Would that change if they were minks?
What do you mean?
Would Little Ors Jr. have a hard time dealing with minks that are pouncing on him?
No, I think he would probably crush unless they're in their
okay.
suit.
What about wait? Okay, what? Right? Yeah. Like whether it's gonna be minks, whether it's gonna be would it change if they were fishmen?
No, I think you are trying to make it like the Giants could be like.
I'm not. All I'm doing is I'm just simply saying what the story tells you. The story tells you the Giants are nuts, and they have been nuts.
I just don't think an average Giant is that impressive, though.
I don't know what an average Giant is per se, but okay, so again, keep in mind that we have not seen a Giant, as far as I understand, as far as I remember, we have not seen a Giant yet in Navy headquarters. That is, in the Navy that has been under a vice admiral. So by default, every Giant is a vice admiral fighter. Now, what that means, I don't necessarily know because that rank is all over the place. But in terms of rank itself, they value the Giants that much. Mother Karma had her whole thing with getting the Giants over, and that was a huge deal for them because obviously the Giants were a great military asset. And when Marines started getting Giants, their military might rose by orders of magnitude when they got Giants.
It's an average basis.
I mean,
but
on average, better than everyone they could have picked from.
Well, yeah, it's like where are the fishmen that on average, are vice admirals off the gate? Like where?
Now I was gonna say, why haven't you seen giants play like the role of warlords? You know, if they're so good, I would just line up my warlords with giants and call it a. You know, if I'm here to win,
I think
why hold giants to just?
Well, I mean, but we know why though. Like we know why though.
Giants don't give a fuck.
Yeah, because mind you, like, so warlords are supposed to be former pirates. The biggest giant pirates we've seen so far were what? The Dorian Brogy. Like Dorian Brogy were fighting each other for a century on that island, right? Oimo and Kashi became like gate guardians of Ennis Lobby. And then Hydruden, God knows where he was at. I have no idea. But he's not like, but he's a younger giant. He's like, ooh.
Relatively, let's say like Hydruden's like a 70-year-old giant, a 70. I know he has an official age.
Right. Let me see.
Like 81.
Oh, like really? Like,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, he said one. Yeah, that's close. 81 years old. On the money.
So 70, 80. Okay, so
on the money.
So let's say like he's 25 in like giant years, maybe like 30.
Okay.
Maybe 30. So like he's a 30-year-old for a giant. He's still like a young buck. Oimo and Kashi, they're probably like in their 50s. They're probably like in their 50s. And then Dorian and Groggy are probably pushing 60. They're getting into their 60s. So like they're like at the pinnacle probably of what like giants could be, like for like lifespan wise. Like, you know, like the prime.
Oh, their prime. I got you.
Yeah, they're prime. They're prime.
I mean,
so
probably.
We know that like Oimo and Kashi were gate guardians, but we also know like Galilol kind of them up. And then like,
Layla had a whole like plan of strategy though. Like they had like literally a whole thing. Mind you, I think that Oimo and Kashi were gonna get back up, but then the sea train hit them in the back when they were about to get back up. You know? And then they still came back anyway to fight on the side of the Straw Hats. So, and also, also Jade has a good point too. Like, yeah, like we just saw a bunch of random giants block a death beam from Marcus Mars in the last arc. Look, I'm not saying that the giants at times haven't been like, you know,
questionable.
How do you say that? Like questionable, right? Yeah, questionable. But even like Hydruden, who got one-shotted by Luffy on a Luffy sneak, mind you, by Gear 2 and Dressrosa, even he came back later on an arc, and he catapulted like 10,000 tons into the sky with a single punch. Like, bro, like there's no way.
What about Doll and Kashi?
Kashi got back up. Like,
but he got pretty hurt.
Yeah, he did, but okay, that's fine.
That's the Vice Admiral. We know what happens to Vice Admiral Frankie.
Yeah, but wait. Yeah, but that's Frankie. We're talking about like giant, like on a baseline, on average. Like Frankie is a seasoned fighter. He's a Yonko caliber crew member, of course. Like Frankie. Frankie. Wait, hold on. Let me, because we have to push it into
that's what
perspective here.
I'm putting in
Frankie.
Perspective. Like,
No. Frankie has a bounty right now higher than Doflamingo. So all I'm saying is like, bro, put you into perspective, okay?
Sure.
Frankie ain't no bitch.
I will say this.
But like, that's my point. I don't think like the giant
named giant get knocked out yet.
Like a vice admiral took out Kashim in a flurry of punches, and he got back up later on. But Brogy literally just pancaked a vice admiral in a single blow, and the guy's out up until we see him again later on the arc talking to Jay with his head down.
So outside of Dorian Brogy, I know you have a certain perspective that there will be the upper tiers for the giants, like the Asgardians.
Yes, so, Thor, Loki, Odin, Baldur, Kratos, all these niggas. Yeah, Surtur, hell yeah.
Come down for you, Cole, mainly the Asgardians. Let's just call them the Asgardians. If the Asgardians don't pull up like you're hoping they're gonna pull up, how are you gonna feel about the giants?
I mean, I'm not too sure. It depends on what happens with the Asgardians. Like, I don't know how it's gonna work out exactly, but I mean, they're gonna be strong. Like, will they be as strong as Luffy?
We're also stacking them against the strong.
Of course not.
But actually, wait, hold on. You know what? Let me back up real quick. Wing could be right. Thor could be gnarly as like Thor, honest to God, could be radical.
Flashback.
I believe Thor will. I mean, not Thor. Fucking.
Don't scare us.
Odin.
I believe Loki will have a brother, aka Thor, and they'll be having a civil war.
This character doesn't exist.
Fake news.
Hey, if we're going off of Norse mythology, I can make an educated guess.
Wait. Listen, I appreciate your creativity. We will not accept Thor. No.
No, we will. We will because we don't care that
You
much.
cannot put. No, that's no.
Real quick. Executive decision. Are you allowing the hypothetical Thor to be on Wings list?
Please say no.
He might be there, actually.
Do not.
You never know. He could exist in the
It's
story.
fucking Wing.
Let him
Who
or you
cares?
let him or you have to redo
Wing's
the
got
whole
that
list.
observation.
Stop. It's Cole's decision. It's Cole's decision.
Yeah, it's Cole's decision. Just let him decide.
Hey, nah, that shit. Yo. You know what?
Let him cook.
Thor could be gnarly as like he could be just as strong as an admiral, maybe stronger than an admiral. On God,
Bro. I mean,
bro.
He better be the Oden. He better be the Oden.
That's what I'm saying. Like exactly. I was gonna make the parallel to Oden. Oden is like a famed, incredibly powerful samurai that was a part of Roger's voyage. Same with Whitebeards. If there is an Oden dude or two Oden dudes in Elbaf, which it easily could be, remember how they always said before how have you ever seen a giant with a different power? What if he has one? He actually has a different power himself. Thor does, or let's say Loki has one, right? They're gonna be powerful as giants. I promise you. There could be an Odin caliber dude on the Giants Admiral. Easy. Bro. He could, like Luffy him could scrap. Like Gear 5 Luffy him could scrap.
Yeah, side tangent about the Giants a little bit. You know, in Wano you find out that the samurais aren't necessarily all they live up to in their repertoire.
Well, hold on. Which ones though? Right? Like that's the question.
Samurai, right?
Outside of Ryoma and Odin, the average samurais are not that clean.
But what I was gonna say is, I feel like it's a little different with Giants because we've seen them throughout the series.
My thing is, regards with the samurai kind of not living up. I feel that all those samurai were probably dead because they were fighting. You know, they all went to try to fight Kaido. So all the ones who probably would have, I wouldn't say be on Odin's tier,
but to live up to the
very well respectable in strength, probably all got decimated.
My point is, when you look at like outside of Oden and Ryoma, the modern examples of what are the best samurai have to offer, the best that they have to offer is few in between, and they're just all right.
Well, and the chasm is immense. The chasm.
Okay, let me say this. All right, hold on. So, okay, let's, because I'm not talking about like every giant, but I'm talking about like a select few giants that are gonna be like OD as fuck. Like, could there be a giant that's like as strong as an actual admiral on the island right now? I'm like, yeah, that's very possible. It could be two. But okay. If you were to replace the samurai in Wano Country during the raid with all giants, the raid is gonna turn out differently, very differently, because now you're gonna see a lot of the Kaido forces get swept away. Like
numbers don't matter.
The numbers, of course, but like the gifters and the pleasures and the those guys are gonna get mowed down like wheat. The numbers gonna be hard to deal with, but at the same time, you have hundreds of giants on you, so even other number giants are gonna get swamped in that shit. They're gonna get swamped.
You said raid? That's gonna be a harvest. What do you mean?
For real, bro. Like the giants are gonna handle. They're gonna handle a lot of the fight. And then mind you too. It's like there's the numbers do matter here. The numbers matter a lot, I guess, in story nowadays. But
yeah, I know. Right?
The idea is that like the giants, like when Big Mom says what she says, I can see what she's saying. Because if you have giants that are like, again, at a baseline, the strongest we've seen in the verse, and then you have top tier giants, like for example, even let's say the regular giants you see fight, there may be an enhanced version of that. You actually have like trained giant knights that are there to defend the Asgardian royals like Odin and Thor and Loki and Bald and all them. Right. It's like they could have some really strong dudes at baseline, like very strong.
And they would only need
Cole, I got a theory for you.
Yeah.
In Vinland Saga, the Jormung Vikings or some shit.
Oh yeah. The ones that fought against the Shoms or like the Yorm Vikings, or what's it called? Yeah.
Yeah, the lone. That's like the elite fighters or something.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, it's like you kind of have to square perceptions with the Giants with the fact that they are probably the only nation that's not under Yonko control. They can firmly say they can defend themselves off against the world government if the world government wanted.
I mean, they might be under Shanks because Shanks has like.
Well,
it seems like there's a
It
close
seems like
tie.
it's kind of.
You know,
It seems like it's more of just like
camaraderie, like they're
honor.
friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It
like I
doesn't
don't think
really
they actually
feel like
command
this
them.
is
Yeah.
my territory.
Off of the
No,
story,
it could just be it just could be one of the realms too, not all of them.
but here's
Or
the
a
theory.
town.
But here's a theory that I had. I think the gum gum fruit. I think Shanks was bringing it over to Elbaf for someone who's a giant. Because if you're tracing back to the theory of what Vegapunk said about how devil fruits come to be, is through the dreams and the ambition of people, I can easily see a giant saying, "Oh, I wish I could be like the sun god Nika," and for Shanks to find the fruit and say, "Hey, here you go." So imagine someone having a giant having Luffy's fruit as the sun god Nika on top of their connection with that sun god.
Jesus Christ!
I don't
That
see
would
over
be-
to Nika as the sun god.
I will say, looking in this chapter, was it just me, or like did anyone else get like
I
the
don't know what
vibes
it
of
is.
Strong World because of the large animals? So that could also put another perspective for.
I did
Elbaf.
too. Yeah, I did.
Why
Yeah,
they're
sort of.
like
Yeah.
if it's like some pseudo Strong World shit where like they have just a bunch of animals. Is it possible giants like Elbaf could they call upon like the creatures in warfare? You know,
Well, like ride them like
something
mounts or
you have to
something.
think, yeah.
Maybe it's possible.
Or just
But like even still, like for example, like you need that. Like imagine you have, because I mean, it was scary as hell when Luffy did that when he was Oars Luffy. Imagine when you have a giant that comes out learning like, oh, hey, I know some 6 powers martial arts skills. Like, oh shit, and then you're teleporting around as a giant. You're doing like giant Shigans. You're doing giant like storm leg kicks. Like,
more
bro,
people should learn that.
like, bro, like you know.
The Straw Hats should learn that. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, like, the Giants themselves have a huge, no pun intended, they have a huge ceiling on what they can do and how powerful they are. And they've gotten so much gas from so many, like, noteworthy people. And even when they do seem to falter and they do seem mid, they're still incredible in some ways afterwards. Even Hydruden got one shot, was throwing around 10,000 tons. Even though Dorian Brogy lost weapons, they still did the Elbaf Spear that Big Mom can do, right? Even Oimo and Kashim, they lost to the Frankie family, but then remember they were getting back up. At least I think it was Oimo, and then he got hit in the back with the freaking train, and they still want to fight against him anyway, right? It's like let me fight against the World Government anyway afterwards. So it's like, bro,
See you. Bye bye.